My name is Lena Carter. I'm 34, and by all accounts, I should have had a calm, forgettable life. A tech job in Seattle, a quiet marriage, a mother who moved in after Dad died, so we wouldn't grow apart. I wasn't the ambitious one in the family, never the favorite, but I was the reliable daughter, the one who stayed behind while others moved on. I always sensed I was on the outside of something, like the conversation stopped when I entered a room, like they knew something I didn't. And for a long time, I told myself that was just grief. Theirs or mine, I couldn't be sure. But then I started noticing how often my husband and my mother disappeared together, how often they whispered behind closed doors. And the day I hid a camera in our storage room was the day I stopped being the quiet one and became their biggest threat. The door wasn't fully shut. Again, the house was silent, the kind of artificial silence that screams when you're listening for it. I held my keys a second longer than I should have. Then I slid off my shoes and crept down the hall. Storage room. That door. Open a crack. Inside, the low buzz of two voices. Derek's. Calm. Smug. Mom's. Soft. But not the way she talks to me. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just listened. Laughter. Not a joke, not nervous. Familiar. Like two people remembering something they weren't supposed to. I stepped back, letting the carpet swallow my steps, and made a small noise with the front door, loud enough to announce I was home. 2 seconds later, the whispering stopped. The storage door opened. "Hey, babe," Derek said. His smile was too casual. "We were just clearing out some of the boxes from your dad's things. You know how she gets when she's on a mission." My mother stepped out behind him, smoothing her sweater. "Just trying to be useful, sweetheart. That closet's always been a mess." I stared at the hallway light, let it burn against my retinas, because I couldn't look at either of them. I nodded, said nothing. Dinner was normal, almost too normal. Derek talked about a new project. Mom asked if I'd seen the news about some celebrity divorce. My hands shook when I reached for my wine, so I kept them under the table. After they went to bed, I cleaned the dishes just for something to do. Scrubbed hard, listened to the water, focused on the noise. Then I went back to the storage room. Nothing seemed disturbed, just the usual. Holiday decorations, empty moving boxes, Dad's old fishing gear. But then I saw it. On the third shelf, nestled behind a plastic container, one vintage gold earring. My mother's, the kind she wore to my father's funeral. She hadn't worn it since. I held it up to the light. My throat dried. My stomach turned. What was it doing here? The next morning, I ordered a mini camera online. Night vision. Motion activated. Discreet. I told myself I wasn't being paranoid. I told myself I was just being prepared. People lie. It's not always with words. Sometimes it's silence. Sometimes it's where they spend their time. And who they're with when you're not looking. 3 days later, the package arrived. That night, I waited until they were asleep. I moved barefoot, slow, silent, like I was robbing my own life. The camera slipped easily into the top air vent, angled down toward the shelves. I tested it, synced it to my phone, set up a cloud backup. I told myself I'd only check if I had a reason. I got one. Thursday, I left work early. Derek thought I had meetings. Mom had a dentist appointment, or so she said. I parked down the street, walked the last 2 blocks in the rain, watched the house from behind a tree like a damned detective. Derek's car was already there. 5 minutes later, Mom arrived in an Uber. Together, they went inside. I waited. 40 minutes. No movement upstairs. No lights in the kitchen. I opened the live feed. The motion sensor had triggered 5 minutes ago. I hit play. Low light, greenish hue, soundless, but I saw them. In the center of the frame, my mother, my husband, sitting side by side on a crate, their heads close. Derek touched her knee. She didn't move away. He leaned in. She laughed. Then the video cut. Signal error. Buffering. No, 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 I whispered. I tapped the phone. Hit refresh. Video resumed. They were gone. The room empty. I checked the hallway cam. Nothing. I checked the front door. Still locked. Where were they now? I stepped away from the tree. My hands clenched. Chest heaving. A voice echoed in my head, Dad's old saying. Trust is just paper. Burn it once, and all you've got is ash. I walked straight to the front door, keys in hand, knuckles white, because the next time they went down there, I'd be watching. I didn't sleep. I watched the footage over and over. Green-tinted shadows, subtle gestures, the way his hand grazed her thigh, the way she leaned closer, too close, like that room had its own gravity, like I was the intruder in my own house. At 3:07 a.m., I paused the screen, froze their silhouettes in motion. The moment before her hand covered his. It didn't look accidental. A lie doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers through the cracks. Cut scene. Friday. Rain. My reflection in the subway window didn't look like me anymore. Pale. Hollow. Focused. I logged in from my desk, but I wasn't working. I was building a folder. Storage footage. Day 1. Encrypted. Auto-backed up. Hidden behind 3 passwords and an alias I'd made in college. They wouldn't see it coming. If I had to burn the whole house to the ground, I'd make damn sure they lit the first match. That night, I planted the hallway cam. Motion trigger. Narrow lens tucked into the faux smoke detector. 10 feet from the storage room. Perfect. I went to bed at 1 a.m. They went in again at 2:14. Not before. Not after. After I fell asleep. Morning. Saturday. They were in the kitchen. Derek cooking eggs like nothing was wrong. My mom humming along to Fleetwood Mac. I think we should go through the rest of the boxes later, she said, not looking at me. There's still old paperwork from your dad's medical stuff. My stomach flipped. I thought we already shredded all that. She didn't blink. Guess not. Time's a funny thing, Derek added, smiling over his coffee. You think it's dealt with, and then boom, it's back. I nearly threw up. Cut. I opened the hallway cam on my lunch break. Watched them walk down the hall. Wait. Open the door. Slip inside. Then Derek pulled something from behind the cabinet. Small. Matte black. Looked like a box. My mother followed. She had something in her hand. A USB. I paused. My stomach iced. I opened my office drawer. Dug past folders, receipts. Felt the empty velvet lining where the USB backup should be. Gone. By 3 p.m., I was on my laptop at the cafe 3 blocks away. Safe. Neutral. Public. I was going to dig deeper. I tried the hidden drive on my server. Locked. Required the original USB. A file blinked on the screen. Access denied. Encrypted key missing. Behind me, the door chimed. I didn't look up at first. Then something in the reflection of the screen caught my eye. A man. Baseball cap. Aviators. Just standing. Watching me. The same man from outside work. The same one by my car last week. I packed up fast. Didn't breathe until I locked my car from inside. Panic doesn't scream either. It just sits beside you. Quiet, heavy, smiling. I got home early. Derek was in the shower. My mother was watering the hydrangeas. I walked straight to the storage room. Found the corner cabinet. Nothing. Boxes. Dust. No black box. But then paint cans. Half empty, stacked wrong. The bottom can had a scratch mark near it. The kind a floorboard makes when shifted too fast. I moved it. Loose panel. Warped wood. A small slit beneath. I pried it open with a key from Dad's old toolbox. Inside, a leather-bound journal. Old. Faded. The name etched inside. Margaret Blake. My mother's maiden name. No title. No year. Just handwritten entries. Names. Numbers. Sketches of jewelry. Account codes. One line. If it ever comes out, I'll tell him it was Derek's idea. I dropped the book. My pulse roared. This wasn't about an affair. This wasn't just betrayal. This was something else. Cut scene. My mother stood in the doorway. I hadn't heard her come in. You okay, sweetheart? She looked at the floor, at the open panel, at the journal, at me. Then she smiled. That's just old nonsense, she said. My mother kept all kinds of ramblings. Her voice was syrup. I said nothing. She walked toward me. Slow. You shouldn't be digging through things you don't understand. I stepped back, closed the journal, locked it in my bag. Every word she said after that was just noise, because in her eyes I saw it. She knew exactly what I'd found, and she wasn't going to let me keep it. She wasn't just hiding from grief. She was hiding from something else. I didn't wait a full minute after closing the storage room door. I grabbed my bag, shoved the journal deeper, and walked straight out of the house like the walls might collapse behind me. The air outside felt sharper, colder, like Seattle had shifted into a different season just for me. Cut scene. I called Sophia. Where are you? She asked. Outside. I can't. My breath caught. I found something. In the floorboards. Lena, slow down. I can't slow down, I whispered. Every time I slow down, they move faster. Silence. Then, okay. I'm at work. Come now. I drove like I was being followed. Maybe I was. Every car in the rear view looked wrong. Too close. Too slow. I kept hearing Dad's voice in my head again. The truth doesn't hide. People do. Sophia's office was empty. Saturday, no one around. Good. Safe. Or as safe as anything could be now. She locked the door behind me. Show me. I took out the journal. Her eyes widened. Jesus, she whispered, flipping through pages. This isn't a diary. These are transactions. Codes? Initials. Date? Look, dates. Some old. Some recent. Yeah. My voice cracked. Recent. Your mother kept this? I don't know what she's keeping anymore. Sophia paused at a page with numbers scribbled in margins. These look like routing codes. Maybe offshore banks. Why would my mother have routing codes? I snapped. Why would she be in the storage room alone with your husband at 2 a.m.? Silence. Cut scene. Her phone buzzed. Work email. She tossed it aside. You need help, she said. Real help. Someone who can read this without guessing. She texted someone. Fuss. Who? Grace. Grace who? Grace Nolan. She used to work cyber for the state. Now she freelances. Quiet type. Doesn't ask questions. I blinked. You trust her? No, Sophia said, but I trust that she hates liars. Grace arrived 20 minutes later. Hoodie, black jeans, hair in a low knot, eyes scanning the office like she was mapping exits. You the one with the journal? She asked, not bothering with introductions. I nodded. She sat, cracked her knuckles, opened the book like it was an autopsy file. Page after page. No reaction, except her jaw tightening once. What does it mean? I asked. It means, she murmured, someone's been moving money in ways that don't want to be found. Using initials. Using multiple accounts. Some look like they were created with forged IDs. Some look like they were made using someone else's credentials. My skin prickled. Someone else's like whose? She lifted her eyes. Like yours. My stomach dropped. This one, she pointed, this routing number? It's tied to a high-yield trust. But the authorized user was added 6 months ago. Digitally. Using your full name. Your date of birth. Your social security number. I shook my head. No. I never. I know, she said. Cut scene. The office felt smaller. Air thinner. My pulse louder. So someone is impersonating me, I whispered. Not impersonating, Grace corrected. Piggybacking. They're using your real information, but accessing things from a device that isn't yours. I forced myself to breathe. And who would have that access? Grace didn't blink. Anyone who had your USB. My chest tightened. I kept it locked in my office drawer. Sophia looked at me. And yesterday, when you checked, it was gone. Grace leaned back. If they have your USB, they have your financial keys. And if they have your financial keys, they can make you look guilty of anything. I sank into the chair. This is bigger than an affair, I whispered. Affair? Grace raised a brow. Sweetheart, if this was an affair, I'd be bored. I swallowed. Hard. Is my mom involved? The question burned my tongue. Grace didn't answer. Instead, she flipped to the coded page with the sketch of a necklace. This symbol repeats, she said. It means leverage. Something someone can use against someone else. Like blackmail. I asked. Like leverage, she repeated, choosing her words on purpose. Blackmail is loud. Leverage is quiet. Leverage doesn't need threats. Just opportunities. Cut scene. My phone buzzed. Unknown sender. Subject. You're not crazy. The email contained one line. Check what's buried beneath the floorboard. Behind the paint cans. Trust no one. My fingers went cold. That's how I found the journal, I whispered. Sophia grabbed my arm. Who sent that? I don't know. Grace leaned forward. Someone's watching you. The room stilled. Watching me. I repeated. My throat tightened. Like my mother? Derek. Maybe, Grace said. Maybe not. But whoever it is, they know what's happening in your house. They know what you're finding. Her voice softened. And they don't want you to stop. I stood, pacing the room. Fussed. Sharp movements. What do I do? I asked. Do I go to the police? And tell them what? Grace replied. You found coded transactions under your floorboards? Your husband and your mother meet in dark rooms? Your USB disappeared? They'll ask for proof. I have camera footage. Camera footage of two people sitting close isn't a crime, she said flatly. And anything that looks like financial tampering can easily be pinned on you. Whoever's doing this is 10 steps ahead. I closed my eyes. Sophia touched my shoulder. You're not losing your mind. You don't get it, I whispered. This feels planned. Grace nodded. It is. Cut scene. Thunder rumbled outside. Seattle's sky cracking open like it was mirroring my life. The lights flickered in the office. Grace closed the journal, slid it back toward me. You need to understand something, she said quietly. This didn't start last week. This started a long time ago. How long? She held my gaze. Long enough that both of them know exactly what they're doing. My pulse spiked. She continued, and long enough that getting out of this clean will be almost impossible. People like this don't just betray you. They erase you. Silence. Cold. Heavy. Absolute. I swallowed. Tell me the worst part. Grace exhaled. They're not hiding a secret from you. She leaned closer, her voice a razor. They're building something behind your back. I drove home with my hands shaking on the wheel, replaying Grace's words. They're using your information. They're building something behind your back. People like this don't just betray you. They erase you. Erase. The word raked down my spine. Cut scene. The house was dark when I pulled up. No lights in the windows. No TV glow. No voices. Just that thick, heavy silence that felt staged. I stepped inside. Derek. Silence. Mom. Nothing. A cold draft brushed my ankle. The back door was unlocked. No, I had locked that this morning. I always locked it. My heart thumped against my ribs. I flicked on the hallway light. Every framed photo on the wall. Derek and me, Mom and Dad, had been slightly shifted, tilted at just the wrong angle. A subtle message. We were here. Cut scene. I went straight to the storage room. The one place I never wanted to go alone again. The door was closed. Too closed. I reached for the knob. A vibration hit my pocket. My phone. A text. From an unknown number. Stop digging. You won't like what you find. My throat tightened. I looked up. My hallway camera was gone. The smoke detector casing hung open like a snapped jaw. They knew I'd planted it. I opened the storage room anyway. Dark. Cold. Still. I turned on my phone flashlight, slicing the room open inch by inch. No sign of Derek. No sign of Marjorie. But the vent, the one where Derek hid the black box, was open. Exposed. Empty. They'd taken it. Cut scene. I backed out fast, my pulse high enough to fracture bone. In the kitchen, the garage door creaked open. Slow. Long. A dragged metal sound. I grabbed the nearest thing. Dad's old hammer, my fingers slick with sweat. Footsteps. Not rushed. Measured. Derek appeared in the doorway, hair damp. Shirt sleeves pushed up like he'd been working on something. Or someone. Jesus, Lena, he laughed softly. Why do you look like you've seen a ghost? Where's Mom? He shrugged. Probably upstairs. I took a shower. It was a lie told so calmly it made my stomach ice over. I lowered the hammer. Just an inch. You took down my hallway camera. His expression didn't change. Not annoyance. Not guilt. Nothing. Just eyes like a closed door. That thing probably fell. This house is old. It didn't fall. My voice cracked. His jaw ticked. Barely. Then he stepped closer. Are you all right? He asked. You've been acting off. I blinked. Off. You're paranoid. You're jumpy. You're accusing people. You're imagining things. His hand reached for my arm. Maybe you've been under too much stress. He didn't say the word, but I heard it. Unstable. A line Dad used to say slipped into my head. If someone wants to break you, they'll start by making you doubt your own eyes. I stepped back. I'm fine, I said. Derek smiled. Soft. Pitying. Practiced. Whatever you say. Cut scene. I retreated upstairs, locked the bedroom door, and opened the burner phone folder Grace had created. I uploaded every storage room video directly to my attorney's secure cloud. Insurance. A lifeline. Then I opened the journal again. This time I noticed something I hadn't before, a faint imprint on the inside cover, like someone pressed a pen too hard through the page. Numbers. A phone number. I Googled it. The results hit like a punch. It belonged to a probate attorney in Tacoma, one who specialized in contesting wills, one my mother had consulted after my father's death. But she'd told me Dad's estate process was handled cleanly, quickly, with no disputes. She lied. Cut scene. A floorboard creaked in the hallway. I killed the lights, pressed my back against the wall, hammer in hand. Shadows under the door. Slow steps. Then, a voice. Soft. Familiar. Sweet. Lena? Honey? Are you awake? My mother. But something was off. Her tone wasn't warm. It was coaxing, like bait. I didn't answer. A pause. Then a whisper, barely audible through the crack. We need to talk about what you took. My veins iced. Not what you found. Not what worried you. Not are you okay. What you took. Another whisper followed. Lower, colder. You shouldn't have gone through my things. Her shadow drifted away. Slow. Like she knew I was listening. Like she wanted me to. Cut scene. I waited 15 minutes before moving. I shoved my laptop into my bag, grabbed my keys, journal, flash drives, charger. I climbed out the bedroom window, dropping into the wet hydrangeas below with a dull thud. My ankle twisted, fire shooting at my calf. But I didn't stop. I ran to my car, hands shaking so hard I missed the ignition twice. Finally, the engine roared. I peeled out of the driveway, heart slamming, breath coming in sharp bursts. My phone buzzed. A text. From Derek's number. Let's not make this worse, Lena. Come back inside. We can explain. Another text immediately after. From my mother. Please come home. We're worried about you. Their words blurred into one chilling truth. They weren't worried for me. They were worried about what I knew. I hit the gas harder, rain streaking across the windshield like static. Because now I understood. They didn't fall into this accidentally. They didn't get tangled in something messy. They planned it. Together. From the beginning. I didn't stop driving until I reached the edge of the city. Some nameless motel off I-5 with buzzing neon and a parking lot that smelled like rain on concrete. I texted Sophia once, then twice. Come now. Bring Grace. Please. 10 minutes later, their headlights cut through the fog. Cut scene. We took the farthest room, the one with peeling wallpaper and a door that stuck. Grace checked the blinds before she spoke. You were followed, she said. I froze. How do you know? You took 3 rights before turning in here. People don't do that unless they're checking mirrors. You learned fast, but not fast enough. My pulse spiked. Did he see me come in? Maybe. She shrugged. But paranoia is just awareness with sharp edges. Keep them. Sophia sat beside me on the bed. Tell us everything. From the moment you left the house. I told them. The moved photos. The open vent. The texts. My mother's whisper through the door. The way Derek looked at me like he was waiting for my mind to break. Grace listened without blinking. "They're escalating," she said quietly. "You rattled something loose." I swallowed. "So what do we do?" She took the journal from my bag. "We go deeper." Grace opened her laptop. External drives. Encryption tools. She typed at a speed that didn't seem human. "Your father's estate," she muttered. "When did he die?" "A year ago." "And your mother handled paperwork?" "Yes." Grace's jaw ticked. "Convenient." "What are you saying?" She didn't look up. "I'm saying grief is a great costume for greed." Cut scene. She found it. A digital trail my mother never thought anyone would question. "When your father passed," Grace explained, "a trust was created. Standard. But the trustee was listed as you, not your mother." "I knew that," I said. "Mom told me I'd get access later." Grace spun the laptop toward me. She lied. On the screen, primary trustee, Lena Carter. Secondary beneficiary, none. Account value, $2.6 million. My throat closed. "No, that's not right." She said Dad left everything to her. "He didn't," Grace said. "He left control to you. But 6 months ago, someone submitted a digital request to add an authorized manager to the account." She clicked another file. "Authorized manager, Marjorie Blake." Another line below it. "Secondary authorization, Derek Carter." My breath left me. They added themselves? Sophia gasped. "But that requires Lena's digital signature, right?" Grace nodded. "Which someone had." "The USB." My mother's voice echoed in my head. "We need to talk about what you took. Not what you found. What you took." They'd needed the USB. They'd needed my signature. And they needed me out of the way. Cut scene. The motel room felt too small. The air too tight. "So they're stealing it." I whispered. "The trust." Grace shook her head. "Not exactly. They're doing something worse." She opened a folder of surveillance screenshots. My screenshots. My camera angles. My timestamps. "How did you get those?" I whispered. "I didn't. Someone sent them to your cloud. From your account." A sick chill slid through me. "They logged into my cloud?" "They have your passcodes," Grace said. "Your biometrics. Your digital identity. But those require my face." "Not always. You ever unlock your phone in front of them?" "Yes." "And you ever leave it unattended?" "Yes." She leaned forward. "Then you gave them everything." My pulse thudded in my ears. Loud, angry, trembling. What are they trying to do to me? I whispered. Grace hesitated. First time since I met her. Then she said it. "They're building a case that you're mentally unstable, paranoid, impulsive, and if they succeed..." She didn't finish. She didn't have to. I felt the truth like a blow. "They're setting me up to look incompetent," I said, "so they can be legally named custodians. Take over everything. They want me discredited." Grace nodded. "Exactly. Once you're declared unfit, they get control of your finances, your trust, your medical decisions, your life." My stomach twisted. "And you know what people say," Sophia murmured. "The easiest way to break someone is to convince the world they broke themselves." The door rattled. All three of us froze. Shadows moved under a frame. Then, a voice. Derek's. Calm. Low. Too calm. "Lena, open the door." My blood iced. How did he find me? Grace silently pulled a pocket knife from her boot. Sophia grabbed my wrist. Don't move, she whispered. Another knock. Harder. Lena. Derek's tone darkened. You're scaring everyone. Let's stop this. Come out. Now. My chest tightened. My mother's voice joined him. Sweet venom. Honey, please. We just want to help you. Grace emoted. Do not answer. I didn't. Silence. Then footsteps retreating. Sophia whispered he'll be back. Grace nodded. They won't quit. I stared at the door, my pulse roaring like ocean waves eating the shore. What do I do? I whispered. Grace didn't hesitate. You hit back. What does that mean? It means, she said, you stop running. You confront them. You record everything. You pull them into the open. My breath trembled. Where? Grace's eyes darkened. You pick the place they feel most comfortable, the place they think they own you. I knew immediately. The lake house. Dad's lake house. The one filled with ghosts and secrets. The one place my mother would never expect me to reclaim. Grace leaned in. Send them a message. Lure them there. Get the truth on camera. My chest tightened. What should the message say? She handed me my phone. Something that terrifies them, she said. Something that makes them come running. The lake house looked smaller than I remembered, like grief had shrunk it. Fog clung to the deck like something alive. Storm clouds rolled over the water, thick enough to crush the horizon. A place meant for family memories. A place that had rotted into a crime scene long before I ever realized it. I parked crooked in the gravel, left the engine running. Just in case. Grace wired the cameras quickly, her movements sharp and sure. Every angle is covered, she murmured. Living room, kitchen, back hall. They won't know where to look. Good, I said, even though my voice shook. They shouldn't. You ready? Sophia asked. No, I said, but I'm done being prey. Cut scene. We waited. The storm broke first. Lightning ripped through the sky, splitting the lake in two. Thunder rolled, so hard the windows rattled. And then, headlights appeared. One car, then another. They came fast. I felt Sophia grip my hand. Felt Grace shift her weight, blade hidden at her ankle. The front door opened. Derek stepped in first, wet from the rain, eyes scanning the room like he expected an ambush. My mother followed, wrapped in her beige coat, hair plastered from the storm, looking like a widow who'd lost her last shred of innocence. But there was no innocence left in her. Not tonight. Derek spotted me. Lena, he breathed, relief flooding his voice. Fake relief. Practiced. Thank God. We were terrified. My mother stepped forward. Honey, why would you run? We're your family. Family. The word was a knife. Stop lying, said. Lightning flashed behind them, bright enough to paint the truth across their faces. Derek glanced around. Where are we? Why did you bring us here? I found the journal, I said. I decoded the accounts. Grace helped. And I know what you did. Their eyes snapped to her. Grace didn't flinch. My mother sucked in a breath. Lena, you don't understand. Oh, I understand perfectly. My voice steadied, surprising even me. You needed my identity, my digital signature, my medical records, my mental evaluations. You needed me gone. Not physically, legally, quietly. Derek took a step toward me. I stepped back. You're not well, he whispered. You're imagining conspiracies. You've been. Stop gaslighting me, I snapped. You taught me what that word means. Cut scene. Grace tapped her phone. The cameras shifted. Screens woke up. And suddenly, every angle fed live onto the TV behind me. My mother paled. Derek froze. You're live streaming us, he hissed. Yes, I said. To a lawyer. And to a secure cloud. You're not shutting me up again. Sophia moved to stand between them and me, protective like she always was. My mother's facade cracked. Her voice dropped, low and sharp. You shouldn't have taken what wasn't yours. My father left it to me. He was confused, she snapped. He trusted me, I said. He didn't trust you. Now I know why. Her eyes hardened. He owed me. I wasted my life caring for him. And you took his death as your opportunity, I whispered. Lightning lit her face again. Rage carved into bone. Derek stepped forward. Turn off the cameras, Lena. We can fix this. That's the funny thing about truth, I said. Once it's recorded, it doesn't need fixing. His face collapsed. Rage flooded in. Give me the phone. No. He lunged. Cut scene. He was faster than I expected. His hand locked around my wrist, cold and brutal. The phone slipped, clattered across the floor. Stop, I gasped. My mother screamed, not for me, but for him. Don't let her ruin us. Grace moved first, swift, controlled, slamming Derek back with her elbow. He stumbled, hit the coffee table wood cracking under him. He came up furious. Lightning hit again. Thunder swallowed his yell. He charged. Sophia grabbed my arm and pulled me back. Grace braced herself. Derek collided with her, knocking them both into the bookshelf. Frames shattered. Books rained to the floor. My mother lunged toward my phone, but I reached it first. I hit play. The footage from the storage room began playing loudly. Their voices, their plotting, their betrayal. My mother froze. Derek choked out a sound between rage and fear. You, he growled. You bitch. He started toward me. Sirens screamed outside. Red and blue lights flashed against the windows. Police. My mother backed up, trembling, her voice breaking. Derek, do something. Don't talk, he snapped. Don't say a word. The officers burst through the door, weapons raised, shouting commands. Hands up. Step back. Now. Derek hesitated 1 second too long. He was tackled to the ground. My mother screamed again, her hands shaking, her composure gone. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she cried. No, it wasn't. It was supposed to break me quietly, erase me quietly. But the moment the officers led them out into the rain, something inside me cracked open. Not grief, not victory. Something simpler. Freedom. Cut scene. Hours later, the storm had passed. The lake was still. Police cars gone. Sophia asleep on the couch. Grace sitting on the deck, watching the water. I stepped outside. You did it, she said. No, I whispered. I survived it. She nodded. Same thing. Wind brushed my hair. The lake shimmered under the moon, soft and silver. You know, I said. Someone once told me that truth isn't gentle. It burns, but it clears the land so something better can grow. Sounds right. I never thought it'd burn this much. Grace looked at me. People who love you don't ask you to vanish. The words hit deeper than anything Derek or my mother ever said. Inside the lake house, the cameras I'd installed were still mounted. Little blinking lights. I didn't turn them off. Not yet. maybe not for a long time, because trust wasn't something I knew how to hold anymore. But silence could be a weapon. And this time, I had learned to load it first. I stepped into the doorway, feeling the weight finally lift. This was my house now, my life, my story, and it was no longer theirs to rewrite.